Here's your wrestling news for November 19th, 2020. And your headlines for today include: Jon Moxley and Renee Paquette are expecting a baby. There's a mystery woman coming to NXT. Why Kevin Owens is joining WWE NXT commentary next week. Backstage plans on why WWE Survivor Series match was changed. WWE had plans to change Chelsea Green's name for her Smackdown debut. How badly WWE treated former WWE champion is revealed. WWE seeking to move Candy Cartwright lawsuit involving Matt Riddle to federal court. Darby Allin addresses comparisons to Crow Sting. JTG says Shad Gaspard should receive WWE Hall of Fame Warrior Award. The Undertaker shares an interesting real-life bar incident involving WWE Hall of Famers, and more. We're kicking off with some fantastic news from AEW as World Champion Jon Moxley is set to become a father. In a promo during the show, Moxley thanked his dad for helping make him who he is today, before announcing that he too is going to be a father, as his wife Renee Paquette, aka Renee Young, is pregnant. On Twitter, Tony Khan says this is the best news ever broken on Dynamite, whilst WWE's Bayley took a different approach as she asked Renee which was cuter, how Moxley told the world, or how the former SmackDown Women's Champion found out. Renee then revealed that when she discovered she was pregnant and went to text her husband about the news, the message went to Bayley instead. That's not the only big news for Renee this week on social media, as Renee has revealed her new podcast named Oral Sessions, and given the interesting name, confirmed it won't be about eggplants. Several WWE superstars, both past and present, congratulated Renee on the new show, whilst Brie Bella may have already been booked as the first guest, as when she replied to the news, Renee said that she needed to get the former Divas champion on. With a cookbook in the works as well as a podcast and a baby, the Canadian is certainly keeping busy, and we'd like to send our congratulations to Renee and Moxley at this joyous time. Over to NXT now, and this week's show saw the story continue between Boa and Xia Li. On last week's show, Boa's hand was marked with ash after he received a note from Xia Li's family, and this week, William Regal confronted Boa at his home to find out what's going on. Answering the door looking worse for wear, Boa simply said, "She's coming," and when asked if he meant Lee, said who, and reiterated that she's coming. It's unclear who this mystery woman is, though some fans have speculated that Karen Q, who is also Chinese, could fit the bill, and we'll have to see who this woman is and what hold she has over Boa. One person we do know is coming to NXT is Kevin Owens, who will be returning to the Gold brand next week to provide commentary. During NXT, Wade Barrett confirmed that the former NXT champion will be back to commentate next week, and it was also confirmed that NXT TakeOver War Games will happen on December 6th. This marks Owens' second return, as he came back to help Team Ciampa win War Games in 2019, and this year's return could perhaps be because Thanksgiving week is always a struggle for WWE's ratings, and having Owens back could help garner some attention. Now, there's always the chance that Owens could get physical during the 2-hour show, and a full-time move back to NXT isn't out of the question. Would you like to see KO back in NXT full-time, or should he stick to the main roster? Leave your views in the comments below. Over to Raw now, as Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke are off of Survivor Series thanks to an attack by Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Retribution's Reckoning. Instead, it'll be Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce who will be joining Baszler, Jax, and Lana this Sunday, and according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, this change was made because of the legitimate injury Rose suffered last week. That injury occurred when Jax flung Rose against the ropes and she landed awkwardly on her shoulder, and added that Brooke was written off with a worked injury this way to keep the duo as a team rather than one of them compete this Sunday. Though Jax has a history of injuring superstars, it's noted that WWE isn't blaming her for what happened with Rose, and it was the awkward landing that caused what's being described as a freak accident. We'll have to see where WWE take Brooke and Rose from here, but for now, we know they won't be appearing this Sunday. One woman who they won't be facing is Chelsea Green, who suffered an injury during her Survivor Series qualifier on Smackdown, but Chelsea Green nearly didn't make it to the match at all. Fightful is reporting that there were plans for Green to be named Victorious before her main roster debut, though that didn't happen. In fact, both Green and Victorious were on the run sheet for last week's SmackDown, and the plan was for Green to call herself Victorious after winning the match and earning a spot at Survivor Series. Because of her injury, however, an audible was called and Liv Morgan won the match, so it's probably for the best that Green, who lost the match, wasn't called victorious beforehand. It's also been noted that Green kept her name because of a trademark issue, and given she'll be out for months, we'll have to see what her name will be when she eventually returns. Speaking of WWE's women's division, former superstar Victoria did a lot in her career in the ring and nearly had a WWE Backstage role recently. Speaking to Wrestling Inc., the former women's champion revealed that WWE nearly hired her for a backstage position, saying, "I talked to them a long time ago when I got divorced and I moved back to California. So I was living with my brother Mike and I was living out of boxes. I didn't want to unpack because they contacted me about possibly bringing me in as a trainer. And then I was calling, 'Hello guys, I'm living out of a suitcase. I have one suitcase here at my brother's house. Do I get an apartment? I can't invade my brother's family's home, even though they're open arms.' I finally called Fit Finley. He goes, 'They already hired somebody for the training spot. They went with Sarah Stock, which is a great choice. I love her. She's going to be a future guest on our show, but I just wished I got a call back to say, hey, we're going to go with somebody else. You can go ahead.' And then as soon as I got the call, I was moving in with Tori Wilson in LA. I was on hold." Victoria added that she wasn't hurt by WWE going with Stock, but was hurt that the company didn't even call her back to let her know she'd been unsuccessful. It's bad form of WWE to not even call Victoria back to let her know that they'd gone with somebody else, but with Stock furloughed in April, released in September, and being arrested in October this year, the WWE may be knocking at Victoria's door again if they do want to train her down the line. Now, earlier this year, Matt Riddle denied the claims that he forced himself on indie wrestler Candy Cartwright, and there's now been an update in the case. After WWE was issued a summons by Cartwright's legal team on October 26th, WWE is fighting back, as on November 17th, they received the necessary signatures to move the case to federal court. This means that the matter will be observed more closely from now on, as Cartwright is suing WWE and Evolve for $10 million each for actual damages, damages from distress, punitive damages, attorney's fees, and costs. Cartwright's lawsuit alleges that after refusing to do what Riddle requested of her in January 2020, the Raw superstar used his status to have her removed from Evolve and WWE events, and will provide more updates on the case as details come out. AEW next, as with his face paint and brooding mentality, it's no wonder why Darby Allin has been compared to the Crow Sting that fans know and love, and now the TNT champion has chimed in on those comparisons. While speaking to TV Insider, Allin explained where the face paint comes from, saying, "My face paint just comes from my real life. That's not really a character thing I try to rip off of anybody. I've always just liked the dark stuff. I've always been a fan of the gothic aesthetic. Just weird stuff. I'm flattered by the comparison. It's cool, but it's definitely not what I'm thinking about while I'm doing it." Allin even sits in the seats at the Daily's place, surveying the entire ring just like Sting used to do. And though the TNT champion didn't borrow from the Stinger when he made his character, it certainly seemed to work out to create a familiar bond with a lot of fans. Back to WWE now, and the company's lease with the Amway Center ends on November 25th, and they must be gone by December 5th. And now we may know what the company has planned next. According to WrestleVotes, WWE's current plan is to move the Thunderdome to Tropicana Field in Tampa starting mid-December, and the idea of fans being present at the Royal Rumble is a possibility if the Thunderdome is there. The report added that the WWE is hoping to have traditional live arena shows with fans the night after WrestleMania 37. Ringside News reported that WWE may have to house their main roster shows at NXT and 205 Live's Capitol Wrestling Center until Tropicana Field is all set up, but with the new venue, it looks like having live fans in some capacity could soon be a reality once more. More from AEW next, as FTR have been a dominant force in the company, even being former tag team champions, but now have reached the top of PWI's Top 50 Teams list as well. This was also the first Top 50 Teams list PWI have ever done, and while speaking to Fightful, Cash Wheeler described it as one of the proudest moments of their career. Dax Harwood added that FTR makes every decision based on what their legacy could be, adding that being remembered is more important than money. FTR has certainly cemented their legacy both in WWE and AEW, and though they recently lost the tag team titles to the Young Bucks, they've clearly done enough to impress those at PWI to give them the coveted inaugural #1 spot. Now, earlier this year, Shad Gaspard gave his life to save his son from drowning, and the former superstar was given a fitting tribute worthy of his heroic final moments. Recently, when speaking to Chris Van Vliet, Shad's tag team partner JTG expressed his desire for Shad to be given the ultimate tribute, arguing that he should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as the Warrior Award recipient. JTG said, "He definitely should. I don't know what's a bigger heroic act than putting his life on the line for his son, but honestly, he would have done it if it was another child. If it was me, he probably would have done the exact same thing." A hero both in and out of the ring, Shad was working on many projects before he made the sacrifice to save his son, and it would be more than appropriate for him to receive such an honor in the WWE Hall of Fame. Undertaker news next, as the Deadman has had a career worthy of his final farewell this Sunday, and when the Deadman spoke to Ariel Helwani of ESPN MMA, he shared quite a story of life on the road. According to The Undertaker, this story comes from a time when money was tight in WWE, and wrestlers weren't sure if they were able to make their mortgage payments, but he added, "We had a couple of guys and they were at a bar, and then another wrestler came up, and they're buying shots of whiskey and drinks and they're having a good time in spite of everything." That couple of guys were the APA, Bradshaw and Farouk, but when Dustin Rhodes didn't want to drink, he went about it in the worst way. Instead of saying no and passing, so every time they're doing a shot, he's throwing it over his shoulder, these guys are paying hard-earned money that they really didn't have, and he got a guy throwing his over his shoulder because he didn't want to get drunk or get messed up. Undertaker explained that Dustin was hauled in front of Wrestlers Court over the matter and was banned from going to any clubs or bars for a while, and we can't help but wonder how long Rhodes' sentence lasted over not wanting to get drunk. And we're ending with AEW news today, as several big matches have been announced for next week's card. During this week's Dynamite, it was confirmed that AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida will defend her title against Anna Jay, while Chris Jericho and Jake Hager will face SCU. Pac and Phoenix will team next week to face the Butcher and the Blade, and this comes after the Death Triangle reformed this week and immediately started a feud with Eddie Kingston's crew. Will Hobbs will also be in action, though his opponent wasn't revealed during this week's Dynamite, and regardless who his opponent is, next week's Dynamite looks to be a packed show ahead of their huge episode on December 2nd.